Next up here is Anthony Constantino at Turning Point USA in Phoenix. And you've got a story to tell, which I'm going to kind of give you a little lead in on it. You are running for Congress, but you're going to fill a seat in, I guess, a special election, obviously New York 21, but I want to hear your passion. Thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So Anthony Constantino, right?
Yeah, Anthony Constantino.
What you got a story to tell that got you to this point that I want the people to hear.
It's a fun story, and it's a very important seat, Elise Stefanik's seat. She's great congresswoman, big shoes to fill. She's a great appointment for the UN role, and I actually went to high school with her.
Oh, awesome.
So, so 3 months ago, I wasn't planning to become a politician. I wasn't planning. I was a businessman for the last 15 years. I built a 1,200-person company. We got about 1,000 manufacturing jobs in upstate New York. And really, when a bullet hit President Trump, I immediately fired off an endorsement to my 5 million customers.
Fired off an endorsement.
Fired off, sent it out.
Nope,
sent it out.
Here, right?
Sent out an endorsement to my 5 million customers. We put it on X. It went viral, 12 million views on X. And then I sent it to 12 million, and my 5 million customers was a massive media explosion, social media explosion, traditional media explosion, and huge backlash. We were getting about 100,000 hate mails a day, 100,000 hateful emails a day. People wanted me to kill myself and all sorts of horrible things. And after the backlash died down, people said to me, look, you made your point. You endorsed the president. Get back to work. And I said, look, if I go back to work, it's going to seem like the far left won once again, that they effectively silenced a Trump supporter. They bullied him into submission. So I said, no, I have to continue supporting him. So I kept doing everything I could to support him, leading up to putting a massive sign on top of my tallest factory building. I put a beautiful sign up called the Vote for Trump sign. It was artistically designed and handcrafted. It cost about $250,000 altogether to put the thing on. We had to renovate the roof. We had to do building improvements. The sign itself was a very expensive sign.
So you didn't just put up an expensive sign. You had to do renovations to put up an expensive sign.
Well, believe it or not, I own almost all the functional factory buildings in my hometown. I own about 8 factory buildings. I renovated them all. I saved a number of buildings, and so this was just like one more building we had. We were using it for as a warehouse, but the roof, needed some work. So you're going to put a massive sign on there. It needs a little bit more work than usual. So We put this massive sign on top of the building. I said the trick was to make the sign beautiful. We put the sign up there. Then I said, let's throw a party to unveil the sign. We're going to do a sign lighting party, and the Democrats heard about this party and they went nuts and they tried to throw me in jail over it. They said the sign was a public safety hazard, that they went to a judge. They got a restraining order on me, blocking me from displaying the sign under threat of arrest.
You see, we've talked about this over and over again. Just the last interview I did and another interview I did, how often, that they are using the legal system illegally, unconstitutionally. That's against your First Amendment rights.
Exactly. It was against the First Amendment. First Amendment's totally protected in an election year. I learned about this very quickly. And the Democrats do this sort of stuff. They've been fighting on the basis of censorship because they've lost all the issues. I've been standing on the sidelines watching what's happened in the country, and the Democrats don't have any good issues anymore. You could argue they were for the working class. They don't even have that issue anymore. That's why they've been losing voters like crazy. They don't have any issues. They fight for censorship, and they misuse government power to try to win. It's not the right way to do things. But I put this sign up. They tried to throw me in jail. Luckily, I have great attorneys. I tell people not everybody would be able to go out and get the attorneys I got, but I got great attorneys, and they beat the restraining order in court, and they were able to get me the permission to light to sign up without going to jail. But they actually won the court case 30 minutes before my party. So the police were on standby. There was a lot of police there. They were all on standby to arrest me. It was a very interesting day in my life, and I didn't know if the order was going to get vacated or not. To this day, my lawyer says to me, he says, I'm 100% sure, Anthony, you're going to light that sign and go to jail if I didn't save your ass. I said, well, we don't really know. We'll never know.
So wait, I kind of missed a little bit here.
Yeah.
So they signed an injunction to keep.
I plan a party. They go to the court. They get a restraining order. They tell the judge this sign is a public safety hazard. They say if he displays the sign, he's endangering the welfare of the public.
So it's covered up. What's it covered up with?
We covered it with a tarp or whatever we covered it with, and we covered it with a tarp. The judge listened to him. The judge said, I am concerned about public safety. You got to take it serious. We don't want people getting hurt. So my lawyers, I had to get 2 lawyers.
A Democrat judge, no doubt.
We don't really know. It's a judge, so we don't really know. The judge actually ended up agreeing with us in the end, but I think in the beginning when you go to a judge and you cry and you tell a story, I'm worried about the people, I'm worried about the safety.
I'm worried about the children.
Right? And when you go and you cry and you tell a story, the judge says, well, I don't want anyone to get hurt, so they hit me with a restraining order. I had to cover the sign. I had to cover it with a tarp. I had already displayed it. It was like 6 o'clock at night when I got hit with the restraining order, so I had to drag my employees back to work, figure out some way to cover it so that I wouldn't go to jail. And then we had the party already was being planned, and so
you postponed the party.
We went forward with the party.
So how much time between then and you?
Oh, like 3 days.
So you have your attorney file a lawsuit to say, hey, look, I could display this, right?
We had about 3 days to get the whole thing done because I put the sign up on a Wednesday. We planned the party for Monday. I got hit with the restraining order on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day I got hit with the restraining order. We had very little time. In fact, the hearing was supposed to be for Tuesday, and my attorneys, we got great attorneys. They said, listen, this guy's an upstanding member of the community. Can you please move the hearing forward until Monday? So luckily the judge actually did a really good thing. The judge, respecting me as a great member of the community, decided to move the hearing forward one day. So I got my hearing, an emergency session with the judge.
So he says you can display your sign.
My lawyers were with the judge all day, and they finally got the judge to agree with us at about 5 p.m. I was supposed to go and unveil the sign around 6. And believe it or not, I was doing a live interview with Greg Kelly at 4:30. I remember he said to me, he said, Anthony, so you're going to go display that sign and pay a fine, right? I said, no, it's not a fine. They're going to put me in jail. He said, are you serious? I can't believe it. I said, yeah. He said, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to jail? I said, Greg, I don't know. I got about 30 minutes to make a very big decision, and I don't know. He goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, I really don't know, and I ended the interview just like that with no answer. And then 30 minutes later, my attorney called me, and he said, the judge listened to us. The judge agrees. Go ahead and light the sign. You're fine. No prison time. And everybody was happy except my friends. My friends all thought it would have been very funny if I spent some time in the slammer. But
so 30 minutes before, the judge says it's okay. Mm-hmm. But you said the police were still there.
The police were on standby.
So, but obviously they stood down.
The police actually liked me too. They got to do their jobs, but they like me too. I tell everybody. I had a journalist come, and I was speaking to a local journalist, and he said, Anthony, I've never seen people so united. He said, everybody agrees with you. He goes, you got 90% of the people supporting you. I think they actually did a poll, and I was at like 80 or 90% public support for the sign. The police liked it. Everybody liked it. The only person that didn't like it were 2 or 3 nut job Democrats that suffered from. I was told they suffered.
The police got the word, just 30 minutes that, hey, we got to stand down. He's okay to light
everything
it
was fine. Yeah, 30 minutes.
So now you light the sign. It goes up. I'm sure there's Democrats. Were there people that protested against it? I mean,
believe it or not, we got maybe a few people negative, but I really said, listen, this event's for everybody. I said, what I'm trying to do is we got to bring people back to New York. We got to bring energy back to New York. And the sign's one way to do it. Americans, it's a bipartisan thing. Americans like tributes to historic American figures. That's just a bipartisan issue. Americans in general like tributes to historic American figures, and President Trump's an historic American figure. So everybody liked the sign. I said the trick is it's got to be a beautiful sign, an elegantly designed sign.
Beautiful sign, right?
Beautiful, it is.
There's a gorgeous sign.
When you get in front of it, you'll see it. You can see it in the pictures, but when you get in front of it, people go, wow, it really is beautiful. It's handcrafted, artistically designed. There's not another sign like it in the country. And so I said, it was a bipartisan thing. Everybody liked it.
$250,000 plus legal fees, plus renovation
God only
fees,
knows what it costs.
Plus time that took away from your business. So tell me now. So you get the sign up. It's on full display. Everybody loves it. It's a beautiful sign. Did you get a phone call from Trump?
We got a very nice letter from President. Actually, so I think the first, I don't know if I can say this or not, but I believe it was the first pro-Trump article written in the New York Times. So the New York Times even liked the sign. They wrote a positive article about me, about my sign. It was a full-page article. President Trump read the article. He liked it so much, he ripped it out the paper, signed it, and sent it to me with a thank you. And so I got to speak to the campaign manager, Chris LaCivita. He said President Trump was so happy when he read that article. He said he couldn't believe it. And so that was a great honor. I got a thank you on social media as well. He wrote thank you to me on social media, but the handwritten thank you meant a lot more to me. So
handwritten on that article.
On the article, I got it framed in my office right now. It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
He's got a great signature. He's really good with handwriting. I want to get that talent for myself one day.
Well, obviously you support Trump because you believe in freedom and you believe in the future of America. You look. Everybody we talk constantly about what everybody can do. Their part rather to be able to protect freedom, protect America, preserve what our country is all about. You did your part. I say it's as simple as voting, but what I want to know from you is, one, what do you think other people could do? Do they have to buy a $250,000 sign?
No, I said the simplest thing. I told everybody after I put the sign up, I said, look, the simplest thing you could do is start telling people you like President Trump. We had a huge problem in this country. People are scared to say they like him. People on the left, I said, you're hurting people on the left if you don't admit you support President Trump, because people on the left, they think Trump supporters are bad because they don't even know who we are. So I said, you just got to start telling people you like them. Deal with the frustration. If somebody complains about it, just say, well, I like them. That's fine. But I said, we got to get more people in this country. If you like them, start telling people you like them. That's the best thing you can do. It's going to help unify the country. It's going to help bring people together. The left is going to calm down. The more they hear people like them, the more they're going to calm down. So if you like them, you got to say you like them.
One last question for you. Where are we losing freedom in America?
I think we're getting it back. President Trump's in the White House. I think we're getting it back in a big way. We were losing it big time. People don't realize how fast it was disappearing. You know,
this is what motivated you to put that sign out.
I tell people I became good friends with Roger Stone because I saw Roger was one of the first people canceled on Twitter. Jack Dorsey, a terrible person. He kicked Roger Stone off Twitter. He kicked tens of thousands of people, really credible Americans, off Twitter. It was a horrible thing. He still hasn't apologized for it. Mark Zuckerberg wrote an apology for his bad behavior. Jack Dorsey, if I get into Congress, I'm going to make sure he apologizes too. It's going to be maybe one of my priorities. I don't care for him at all. I think he's a terrible human being, really. He should apologize. He kicked tens of thousands, if not.
Freedom, though? Those are things that.
Well, we're getting it back with President Trump in the White House. I think we're getting it back very quickly. We were losing free speech very quickly, but I think we're getting it back very quickly with President Trump.
Free speech because they'll try to come after you with a sign.
They tried to put me in jail, but they lost. They failed miserably. They ended up embarrassing themselves, and I think the bad behavior on the part of the Democrats trying to arrest me over a sign is probably why President Trump got an 11-point improvement in New York State. So I think we're getting it back. We were losing it. Things were going in a bad direction, but with President Trump back in the White House, I think we're going to get freedom back very quickly. He's surrounded by a great team of people, and I care about freedom, but I also care about talent. I like President Trump because he's one of the most talented people on the planet. He's surrounded by other talented people. We need more talented people in government, which is why I'm sort of excited about getting involved and running for Congress myself. We want talent, we want freedom, but we also want talented people, because if you're talented, it means you can make money outside of government. You know, right. I can make money inside of government. I mean, I can make money outside of government. I don't need a government job to make money. If I get into Congress, I'm probably not even taking the pay. I'm going to distribute it to my staff, but President Trump doesn't take his pay. Elon's not in it for the money. So we want talented people in government, because talented people can make money outside of government. They don't need the government money, and they can be there performing for the people. So I like President Trump because he's talented. I like freedom. We need freedom, but we need talented people in government. We don't want people in government that are just there because they need the government jobs. They need the political jobs. Far too many people in politics are there because they need the political jobs. So
tell me, one last thing while we exit. How can people find you if they want to support you, Anthony? You know, you run for New York 21, but what's your website? How can people find you?
I recently spun things up. You know, I'm a technologist, so I want to build. Just like I built a beautiful sign, we're building a beautiful website. Great team behind it. I want to build up technology that can benefit the party. So I'm really excited to use this opportunity to build up technology for myself. Hopefully, eventually, technology can benefit the party. I'm on the internet at voteforanthony.com. You can do it with the number 4, the letter 4, however you want to do it, voteforanthony.com. I'm also on social media. I wasn't there until recently, but AC132, I don't know. They said it sounds like a gamer tag, which at first I wasn't sure that's good or bad, but it sounds good now. So check me out, AC132 on, it used to be called Twitter. Now it's called X and Instagram.
I love it. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for not only what you've done, but what you're doing now, and for putting your neck on the line to run for Congress to do the right thing.
Well, I'm having fun beating up the Democrats, and we have to do it. We got to turn New York red for all voters. Tell people really quick.
And for our country.
For the country, but for all the citizens of the country, including the Democrat citizens. I tell people, Democrat citizens like me, they like President Trump. The people that don't like me and the people that don't like President Trump are really the fanatics. I was actually in a cab just before the election. I was with a cab driver from South America that lives in America, and he said, Anthony, President Trump's going to win. He goes, you know how I know? He said, because in this cab, everybody likes President Trump now. He said, even the Democrat voters like Trump. He said, there's only a few people that don't. They're called fanatics. So if you really have an issue with President Trump at this point, you should realize you're one of the fanatics, or you're one of the Democrat politicians that scared shitless about what's going to happen to your position in politics, because we got to get these corrupt people out of government.
I love it. And everybody else, thank you so much for paying attention and listening and watching the show. But also, if you want to find out more about Anthony and New York 21, please look him up, follow him on all those social media, and share the video, please. Thank you so much.